Well, this is unexpected. Well, since I can just watch the whole season right now, let's go over each episode in the same way that I've looked at the pilots, the island, and Seabound. That was so crazy. This is like cliffhanger. We need to start the next episode immediately. You gotta be kidding me. There's only 12 episodes so far. I'm looking forward to Crystallize Part 2, but what I'm not looking forward to is saying Council of the Crystal King so many times. It's a bit of a mouthful, so I'm gonna make a 4-letter acronym for it, and so let's just... I can't say that. Let's finish this.
Ninjago Crystallized, the 15th season of Ninjago. The first 12 episodes saw its release in late spring of 2022, ending with the cliffhanger that Harumi is alive. What's next?
Check back in 3 months, you dumb fucking...
Ninjago Crystallized Part 2 saw its release in early fall 2022, and man, this release was a mess. But first, the marketing. The marketing for the first part of the season was fantastic. LEGO officially released trailers before the season was released, and things were looking up as the trailer for the second half of the season was shown at LEGOCon 2022. It was a great trailer, and once again, it's good to see LEGO seemingly trying with Ninjago. LEGOCon was the perfect time to show the trailer, right in the middle of their big event that more than Ninjago fans were watching. The show got a lot more publicity than usual, and there was also the art of the reveal behind it, as it was also presented by Tommy Andresen. This further cemented in my mind that LEGO has gotten a hold of Ninjago's marketing.
I have a bad feeling about this.
Later that summer at Comic-Con, it was announced that Ninjago Crystallized Part 2 would release on October 10th, 2022 on Netflix. Ah yeah, my favorite summer month. It's quite ridiculous that the second half of the season came out over 4 months after the first half. Like, jeez, what a great way to keep people invested. And another issue is that this wasn't a universal date. This wasn't the only release date. On September 18th, episodes 13 and 14 were released on Sky Go in New Zealand, and the rest of the season was released on October 1st on Netflix Australia. This was just so infuriating to see go down. They did so well with the first half of the season, and it's not difficult at all. Just release it when it's ready. Don't hold back, because that's how leaked episodes come about, and then you have less people watching the official release. Not that that even matters since this is the last season. Yeah, so I misunderstood something said at LEGOCon. After the Ninjago section, the host said that Crystallized will be the last entry of this era of Ninjago. Now, by this era, I assumed they meant the Wild Brand era from season 11 to now. But no, this is meant to conclude everything from the pilots up until now, which just instantly raises the bar. I mean, 11 years, 15 seasons, 210 episodes, all concluded here? Man, I'm glad I have you. The key poster even drew heavy inspiration from the endgame poster, and this is a cool poster, but man, this is lame as the key poster. If this was just an alternate poster to a completely original poster, I'd have no problem with this. It's a good looking poster, and it's fun considering the circumstances, but as Ninjago's last key poster, it falls flat, especially since it succeeds a long line of incredible posters.
But that's enough rambling on how LEGO messed up Ninjago's airing schedule one last time. But now, let's watch the season. Let's rock 6 o'clock, Ninjago Crystallized Part 2, and I'll be rating the episodes on my 4-point scale, with 1 being bad, 2 being okay, 3 being good, and 4 being great.
So, previously Lloyd has been discovered by Cock, and the messenger revealed themselves as Harumi. This episode is mainly Harumi telling Lloyd how she's still alive. She quickly recaps her story before that, idolized the ninja, parents killed during Great Devourer attack, adopts a royal family, plans revenge against Ninja, brings back Garmadon, and seemingly dies when saving a family from a collapsing building. A great ending to her character, let's mess it up! So technically she did die, but was sent to some in-between world where she meets the Crystal King, a being that will save her if she serves him. She agrees and she's back alive. She takes a crystal to the Oni temple where she places it on the pedestal, revealing the Crystal King is the Overlord. He further charges her with making a Vengestone army, and thus the Vengestone buyer arc is set in stone. Yeah, it turns out she was actually visiting Vangelis right before the ninja first showed up in Master of the Mountain, and she was also prevalent during Misdemeanor's introduction in Seabound. But yeah, the Vengestone buyer is Harumi. Harumi reveals she's going to steal the golden weapons from the monastery. Lloyd then tries to turn Harumi by telling her that he went looking for her after the building collapsed, but it turns out he just said that to steal a key back from her. So did it really happen, or was Lloyd just trying to trick her? Regardless, he escapes but is briefly stopped by Mr. F. This episode is decent, not the biggest fan of all the retcons, but I do like the backstory. Officer McBragg visits the monastery looking for the ninja, and he also impounds the bounty. He also gives Wu a letter since he ran into the mailman on the way up to the monastery.
Fuck you, we could have seen the mailman.
Big Brag leaves and Wu goes to where Pixel, Nia, and Skylar are as they're checking on the ninja. The ninja are heading to where Lloyd's last coordinates were, and on the way there, they run into a train that Jay obsesses over. I mean, Jay's kinda fun, but man, he can just be complete overkill. These seasons, it's not hard for him to be obnoxious. Meanwhile, Lloyd continues to try and reach Harumi, and he starts to, but the Crystal King stops that. Harumi sends the crystal bots to the ninja and they explode.
Careful, the mouse has ears.
Thankfully, the ninja survived by going into the train Jay was assessing over, but Lloyd and the others don't know that. Harumi tries to turn Lloyd, but Lloyd gets angry, breaks out, and a fight ensues with Harumi comparing him to his father. But then he realizes what he's doing and he stops. The blonde-haired protagonist, who's the son of the big bad, then throws his lightsaber to the side and says,
Never. I'll never turn to the dark side. You failed, Your Highness. I am a Jedi, like my father before me.
Oops, wrong blonde-haired protagonist who's the son of the big bad who snaps and starts to become what he's actually fighting against, but then realizes it and stops.
This episode's pretty good. I really like when Lloyd snaps, and I know I'm dogging on the Star Wars inspiration, but I love Star Wars, so I love seeing it. The ninjas try to find a way to escape the train car as Wu and company try to figure out what happened to them. Cock then arrives.
Wait, how did they know that the golden weapons were at the monastery? Maybe I should check my notes. That explains it.
So, since this is crystallized, a fight ensues, and man, it's good. I just love the Wad Brain fights. Wu has a badass moment where he takes on 3 baddies at the same time. Unfortunately, he loses and Pixel sends out little pixel robots called Mini-Pix, and they start to turn the tide in their favor.
The Mini-Pix are not designed for combat. They will not last long.
Then why'd you send them out?
Crystal bots show up and basically wipe out the Mini-Pixes, and Asphira tells Nia that Harumi's back and then knocks her out, leaving all the heroes out of commission. So each member takes a weapon, Pythor spits out a haha.
Ow! What the? These are broken!
The crystal robots are armed, and the villains leave. Thankfully, one Mini-Pix survived and saves Wu, Pixel, and Skylar, but leaves behind Nia. Nia awakens and seems like she doesn't survive.
Huh, that's sad. On an unrelated note, I got a new scent thing and it actually smells quite good.
The monastery explodes and it is genuinely sad seeing their reaction. This is the second time it's happened, but this time the monastery has been around for much longer. We've seen it prominently in seasons 11 to 15. It's so iconic and it's just crushing to see it burn down again. At least Nia survived. The ninja finally make contact as they narrowly escape the collapsing car and Nia heads out to save them. I quite like this episode. Despite the fake out death, the fight was fantastic and this was definitely an emotional one. Harumi takes Lloyd to the Oni temple and she informs him that all of his friends are dead. Man, she's such a bitch! Meanwhile, the ninja continue to try and find a way to escape and nearly die, but are saved in the nick of time by Nia. She catches them up, revealing the monastery is destroyed on Harumi's back.
We have a new base?
What else are you gonna do? Not have a new base?
The team now operates in the Samurai X Cave, and man, I love seeing legacy locations such as this again. And the team finally reunites with the Season 1 callback.
Home is where your family is, and we're all right here.
Meanwhile, Lloyd is trying to turn Harumi again.
Ooh, I wonder if it'll work this time.
Harumi begins the ritual, and the Overlord finally leaves his crystal, calling back to Season 2.
What was it you said to me the last time we fought?
Overlord?
This episode was okay, not much going on. I love seeing the X-Cave again, and the Overlord returning was fantastic, but besides that, okay. Overlord is being an absolute dick to Lloyd, reminding him of all of his failures, and then powers up Cock. They all get new armor and the golden weapons are all crystallized, and it's just so damn cool. And then he raises the Oni temple to the sky. Oh my god, this is amazing. Lloyd is once again given a chance to join, which he once again refuses and tries to escape, causing the temple to start to fall in the process. The villains hunt him down with Harumi wanting to turn him and the Overlord wanted to kill him. Overlord powers up the Vengestone warriors and meanwhile Cock catches up to Lloyd, but Lloyd outsmarts them. Cock accidentally lets the weapon come in contact with each other and that's a no-no. Lloyd makes it outside but Harumi and Cock catch up to him and once again Harumi tries to turn Lloyd but this time with a heart-to-heart. Too bad Lloyd is a badass. They of course survive and Lloyd's tracker reactivates, which the others notice. And so they plan to head out to Primeval Eye where the Oni temple is. But before they do so, they decide they need to steal back the bounty and their other vehicles first. My gosh, this was a great episode. The chase was great with some awesome action and some fun scenes. The Overlord is so evil and it's awesome seeing the Vengestone warriors now in action. The ultimate payoff of the Vengestone buyer arc. And then Lloyd. Gosh, this is just straight up one of my favorite Ninjago episodes. Fantastic. Equipped with additional armor, the ninjas steal back their vehicles and head off to Primeval's Eye. Lloyd and Harumi travel through the forest with them trying to turn each other. Man, I win crystallized bingo every time. Harumi steals her sword back but then gets stuck in the mud, so Lloyd wagers it back to free them. How exhilarating. Searches for them and spots them, and goofy shenanigans occur. The others show up and save Lloyd, and Lloyd reveals that the Overlord has returned as they head out.
Oh. Sorry. I fell asleep there.
Man, this episode was a slog. Barely anything of note happens. I just don't even know what to say. It was fine, but definitely quite lamer than most other episodes. The villains start to attack as the ninja fight back. It's revealed the villains can turn people into crystal monsters if they touch them, and during the chaos, Gale Gossip does a report. Meanwhile, Wu reveals that the Overlord can't be destroyed, and the letters he has been receiving has been hinting to his return. So Lloyd and Wu ask the newspaper delivery crew who the letters are from, and they seem to be from Vinny, Gale Gossip's cameraman. So Lloyd and Wu head up to his apartment, and none other than Garmadon answers the door. This was another kind of uneventful episode, just some fighting with some important things to know. I'll always take more Vinny though, and the ending is quite good. Overall, fairly decent. So, Garmadon has been rooming with Vinny, and in this episode he basically tells how he got to this point. Remember, in Sons of Garmadon, only his evil self was brought back, so even when he tried to help, he'd cause chaos and destruction. Yet, after helping the ninja in March of the Oni, Garmadon was lost. He helped the ninja and just didn't want to be evil. And so, he sought out the person who taught him about good, Vinny. Vinny is of course horrified that Garmadon came knocking on his door. I mean, what if Stalin knocked on your door? You'd probably be horrified too. Yet, Vinny does recognize that Garmadon does want to become a better person, so Vinny helps him with that. Vinny tells him ways he can help, or in more sophisticated terms, be a bucket filler. Unfortunately, Garmadon still causes chaos even though he's trying to help, which does make me feel for him. Vinny also gets him a plant called Christopherin, which gives Garmadon something to take care of. And Garmadon grew quite the emotional connection to Christopherin. And over the prior weeks, Garmadon could feel evil brewing, so he sent the letters to Wu. Unfortunately, Lloyd isn't having any of it. He still doesn't trust his dad and thinks he's still just pure evil. They start to leave without him, but the baddies have reached the city and they destroy the wall of Vinny's apartment, harming Christopherin and causing Garmadon to go full Oni. Lloyd and Wu witness Garmadon use his Oni powers against the Vengestone warriors, and they realize that it actually works. This episode was pretty good. I like the backstory and I feel for Garmadon. It's sad seeing him try his best yet still get flack for Lloyd. Great episode. At the Samurai X cave, Wu tells the others that they only can stop the Overlord's Vengestone army.
And the highest form of that power is the Oni form.
How did you learn this?
From me.
Garmadon!
Look out! Master Wu, get down!
He said from me. He's obviously supposed to be there. And besides, why couldn't Wu or Lloyd call in early and say, hey, Garmadon's helping us now, so we're gonna take him back to the X cave, just so they're aware. I'm just so tired of this whole dramatic entrance trope, and it's just so dumb. Like, I mean, I can help with that. Whoa, what is he doing here? He's the one who tried to kill me and stole my game! No, I don't want you to speak! I should stop talking.
So, in a montage with the original soundtrack, Garmadon tries to get Lloyd to harness his inner Oni self by basically being an asshole. Of course, the others are mad at Garmadon for this, and I don't know if it's intentional, but I'm with Garmadon on this one. To bring out your true Oni, it's like a rage. You need to be worked up, like how Garmadon was mad that Christopher was harmed at the end of the last episode. So Garmadon is really just being an ass to make Lloyd be mad enough to bring out his Oni self.
I really told them.
Amidst Garmadon trying to get Lloyd to harness his Oni self, Wu realized something. So in Ninjago, there is the Oni and the Dragon. The Oni are the evil and the Dragon are the pure. They are yin-yang, balanced. You can't have one without the other. And because of that, if there's an all-powerful Oni form, that must mean there's an all-powerful Dragon form. And thus, Wu begins his research on the powerful Dragon form. Meanwhile, the mayor is giving a speech and displays overconfidence in the new ninja.
Oh yeah, they exist.
The new ninja attempt to stop the Vengestone warriors, but they're unsuccessful. Great. I really wanted minifigures of the new ninja, and now I also want minifigures of the crystallized new ninja. Well, because of the chaos, the ninja decide that it's time for action. Pixel updated their vehicles to be effective against the Vengestone warriors, and so they head out to fight. Pretty good episode, had some good jokes, and I liked Garmadon trying to help Lloyd. It's cool seeing how it contradicts Wu's teaching, much like how Wu is the dragon and Garmadon is the Oni. Also, seeing the new ninja fall, nice. The vehicles work as the ninjas start doing significant damage against the Vengestone warriors. At Kryptarian, the baddies are watching the news and at first down-talking the ninja, but they're defended by Ronan, which is so him. Despite the fact that he's in there because of them, he recognizes their importance and selflessness. That's just why I love Ronan so damn much. He's not a great person, but he knows his place and why the ninja are important. On the bounty, Wu cracks out the golden dragon armor again. Some dragons then attack the bounty and Garmadon goes Oni to fight them. I love when Garmadon goes Oni so much. Also, I love his new Oni design. His Oni form in March of the Oni was so weird. They just took his face and stretched it on an Oni mask. It just looks so weird, but here they made a new separate design for his Oni face and it looks good. Wu heads off to fight the Overlord and it's just so damn awesome. However, things start going downhill.
Oh, that's unfortunate. It's like there's 8 episodes left, so they can't just win yet.
Some crystal robots start to take down the ninja vehicles, Wu loses to the Overlord too, and he crystallizes the city, and surprise surprise, the bounty goes down.
That poor ship just can't catch a break.
I like that one. The ninja being badass is always cool, and I love the fight between the Overlord and Wu. As Wu falls, he's followed by an energy dragon yet escapes, landing in the canal that we first saw in Seabound. He's saved by Nelson and Antonia, and Nelson shows up right on time to save him, and meanwhile the mechanic finds Nia and tries to crystallize her. Thankfully Jay comes to the rescue and Nia starts to use her powers again, which makes Jay realize that Nia will slowly get her powers back, as that's what happened to Kai when his powers were stolen by Sphera. Nelson takes Wu back to the news delivery warehouse and they try to encourage Wu to keep fighting, but Wu has lost hope and wants them all to leave to protect themselves, which doesn't make the most sense for Wu. And Jay and Nia plan to contact Benthamar to ask for help, so they start to head off to the docks. Wu gets the newspaper deliverers ready to leave, but then some people are in trouble, and thus he saves them with the newspaper deliverers' help, which then makes him realize that Ninja never quit, as he gives a radio speech similar to Lloyd's from Hunted. That was okay, but kinda dragged. Wu's giving up arc really didn't make much sense, and just kinda felt like filler, and Jay and Nia segments just feel like table scraps from a scrapped episode about what happened to them.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! Return of the Ice Emperor? This is gonna be so cool! Are you f***ing kidding me?
The other half of the bounty crashes and Lloyd and Garmadon escape, but then run into Hound Dog McBragg. Garmadon tries to attack McBragg, but Lloyd saves him multiple times, yet McBragg doesn't give up and still wants to arrest them.
What a bitch.
They escape into the sewers with McBragg in pursuit, but then Lloyd saves him from crystallized serpentine and then disappears. Misako makes it to the newspaper delivery warehouse and gives Wu the dragon form prophecy sheet, and meanwhile Zane's jet crashes. Pixel goes to save him, yet his cloaking thing was damaged, and because of that, he looks and talks like the Ice Emperor. But no, this technically isn't the Ice Emperor, he just looks like the Ice Emperor. Why? She's then given a lift by no other than Ronan.
Fugidove! How hard is it to remember? Fugidove!
Oh, I remember you. Autocorrect despises your guts.
Fugitive starts to tell how they escaped. They were sitting around watching the news, but then power went out because of the crystals. So they start to escape, but then Fugitive gives a speech that they should help the ninja, but actually it was Ronan. Once again, I love Ronan so damn much. So they head to Borg Tower to see Cyrus and get Zane fixed. That was an okay episode, but because of that damn false advertisement of a name, after Kai and Cole crashed, they left their vehicles and tried to hide from Pythor, yet Cole accidentally gave away their location. They're cornered by Pythor, but then are saved by Skylar in the nick of time. She catches up Kai and Cole, and Harumi flies around looking for them, so they hide in the arcade where they run into Jake. They hear Wu's message and heads off to Wu's hideout. Meanwhile, Lloyd and Garmadon reach the Serpentine Library, and Garmadon just doesn't give up the idea that Lloyd needs to go full Oni to destroy the Overlord. But of course, Lloyd doesn't want that, revealing to Garmadon that his biggest fear is being like him, which leads to an emotional conflict where Lloyd claims that Garmadon doesn't care about anyone, which is really sad. Also, Kai, Cole, and Skylar are saved by the news people and taken into the warehouse where Jake reunites with his parents. That was okay. Kai, Cole, and Skylar's plot I couldn't care less for, but the emotional conflict between Lloyd and Garmadon raises the episode for me. The team is gathering everyone left in the city at the warehouse, where Skylar makes noodles as a reference to Chen. You know I like my callbacks. Cole gets the radio to speak to the other ninja and realizes that they can possibly use the radio tower on the top of the NGTV building to contact Von Yesso Shintaro to help them. And Racer 7 shows up offering to take them to the other side of town. Meanwhile, Pixel and company have made it to Borg Tower, where Borg makes them mechs and tries to fix Zane, but oh no! Zane's memory banks are in danger of being lost.
Man, that Zane's strong.
Pixel says an emotional goodbye to Zane, and la-di-f***ing-da, Zane comes back to life.
Wow, it's like this is a kid's show and they're not brave enough to kill off main characters.
Not much happened in that episode. It was okay, I guess, but man, I hate fake out deaths. They just devalue real deaths because there's a 95% chance that it's just a fake out. And it's just a lame way to raise the stakes of a finale. F*** fake out deaths, but besides that, okay. Lloyd and Garmadon are still in the library.
Good for them.
They're still not getting along, and Lloyd leaves a message for the Serpentine and tells Garmadon he has no compassion. So, he leaves Christopher behind.
Damn, maybe Lloyd has a point.
Meanwhile, Jay and Nia are at the dock, and of course, Nia is back to doubting her powers again.
It was annoying the first time, why not do it again?
She still tries to contact Menthamar. Does it work?
Have some damn patience.
Racer 7 is taking Cole to the NGTV building, and back in the sewers, Lloyd and Garmadon are attacked by crystallized Serpentine, in which Garmadon shows compassion.
I agree with Garmadon here. I mean, it's just the golden rule. Treat others how you want to be treated. And that's the mentality that I use when I'm leading others. When I'm telling people what to do, I often consider how I would want to be told what to do if I was in their position. Now, personally, I have a yelling kink, so get your ass back to work!
Also, Lloyd realizes that Garmadon left Christopher back in the library, so they head back. Wu asks for an update, and all the teams have failed to make confirmed contact, leaving them all unsure. Good episode. I like how we actually got to see some of Garmadon's growth, and overall, neat stuff. The team finally reunites at the warehouse, and those who were gone learn that some of the villains are there to help. Wu has still been trying to figure out what the Dragon Form pages mean, and they just so happen to accidentally find it. So, how did they activate Dragon Form?
To assume dragon form, we have to jump up, kick back, whip around, and spin?
Am I supposed to react to that?
Nah, that's a reference to the Weekend Whip. That's so cool. The whole time, the intro has been teaching us how to unlock our dragon form. I am so sorry, little kids who would do what the song says, then suddenly turn into a dragon. Nah, in order to actually achieve dragon form, people have to unite. Meets with the Overlord and he is mad. However, Mr. F intercepts a transmission from earlier, and so now knows where the ninja are. Cyrus warns them, and thus the team has to plan as we get a badass scene showing them preparing to hold down forts. And Garmadon and Lloyd plan to go and face the Overlord. However, Garmadon is upset that nobody trusts him. Regardless, the battle begins and Garmadon and Lloyd head off to face the Overlord to begin the final showdown. That was pretty damn neat. Love the Weekend Whip reference, love the planning scene, and love that ending. A bit uneventful and slow, but still good. The final battle rages on. Lloyd and Garmadon continue their fight with the Overlord as Lloyd still tries to turn Harumi. Meanwhile in the streets, things aren't going that great. Kilo, Ultraviolet, and Ronin all get crystallized and the ninja are starting to lose. But then the Shintarans, Merlopians, and Serpentine all show up and so do a ton of civilians. The ninja realize that the people are united and thus it's time to do dragon form, so they do. And they're dragon form now. And now they stand a true chance against the Vengestone Warriors. Each of the original four take down a member of COC, restoring their weapon, and meanwhile the Overlord takes this huge centaur-like form, which is so cool. He then reveals that he's been pulling the strings on everything, including the Great Devourer, the creature that ruined Harumi's life in the first place. And thus she realizes that the whole time she's been fighting for the side that's really against her. So she turns against the Overlord. Yet, it's seemingly already too late. That was a fantastic episode. All of Ninjago working together, Dragon Form, and Harumi's turn. It's all just so good. This is exactly what should be happening during Ninjago's finale. The fight against the Overlord continues, but Garmadon nearly dies, so Lloyd goes full on Oni and starts to demolish the Overlord, until he realizes what he's become. Wu as the ninja collide the weapons.
Master Wu is correct. I see no other course of action.
Don't you dare.
They combine the weapons and become an ultra-powerful gold dragon that takes down the Overlord once and for all. Also, Garmadon only fakes being near death just to bring the Oni out of Lloyd. But it's all over now. The ninja are of course fine, but they've lost their powers, and Harumi is let go, I guess because she realized there's no reason to be evil, as she now knows that it's the Overlord's fault, not the ninja. Garmadon plants Christopher, and all of Ninjago helps rebuild the monastery, and to end this series that I and many others grew up with, we have a song by Sally from The Benefit of Grief, What the Fuck.
And that is Ninjago Crystallized Part 2. If I had to describe those episodes in one word, I'd say underwhelming.
I think this was a solid season, but to end out Ninjago, I don't know. I think the premise is great, but some of the execution, especially in that last episode, it just could have been better.
But regardless, I do still like the season. I was blown away by the first 12 episodes, and the other episodes were satisfactory enough.
For part 2 of the season, the average score was 2.94 repeating, and that perfectly encapsulates my thoughts. It's good, not great, but good. I enjoyed it quite a bit and will gladly rewatch it in a year or so, but for the time being, it's good. And as a whole, combined with part 1 score, the average score of the whole season was 3.26 repeated, and again, yeah, it's a bit better than good. I like it regardless of how underwhelming of an ending that was.
And that is Ninjago Crystallized as a whole, and, well, Ninjago as a whole. We still have no confirmation of what the future of Ninjago will look like. I mean, they could be the same ninja, but they're all green now for some reason. But if this is truly the end of a saga about 6 ninjas that started nearly 12 years ago, well, it's weird to think that this series that was a significant chunk of my childhood is now over. And despite all the ups and downs and woos teas, next year, it's sad to know that it's over. But it's also what I wanted. About a year ago when I talked about Ninjago 2021, I said that, however, with 10 years under Ninjago's belt, I'd be lying if I said I didn't really want the show to end soon. And I really should have explained myself more. I don't want this whole franchise to end. I don't want it to disappear to the moon. What I wanted was for this saga to end. I wanted the 6th ninja to get a conclusion, and then reboot the series, evolving it. And it's not because I don't like Ninjago. It's because I don't want Ninjago to lose its magic. Shows that have been going on for a long time have lost what made them fantastic in the first place. Once great shows have devolved into garbage that just completely misunderstands what it originally was, who the characters truly are and what they represented, and I don't want that to happen with Ninjago. I wanted the chapter to close on this ninja and we start a new chapter on new ninja. And it seems like we may get that. It's a tough situation, but I'm glad Ninjago may be reinventing itself for a new saga in the Ninjago universe. And if Crystallize truly is Ninjago's endgame, I'm horrified for what's coming next.